Your computer might look simple on the outside, but inside, something is constantly organizing, scheduling, and negotiating with every piece of hardware. It's the reason your apps open, your files load, and your games run. But have you ever wondered how it pulls all of that off? Let's find out. Think of OS as the ultimate middleman. It stands between you and the physical hardware, making sure your apps run smoothly, your files stay organized, and your computer doesn't turn into chaos. And at the heart of every OS lies one thing: the kernel. Now, why is the kernel such a big deal? Because the kernel is basically the traffic controller of your computer. It decides which app gets CPU time, how your memory is used, how devices talk to each other, and how everything stays stable. Above it sits the shell, the part you actually see, whether that's a GUI like Windows or macOS or a command line interface like in Linux. System calls connect everything together, letting apps ask the OS for help. But if all operating systems follow the same basic idea, why do Windows, macOS, and Linux feel so different? Because each one was built with a completely different philosophy. Take Windows, the most widely used OS on the planet. It wasn't always the giant we know today. Back in 1985, Windows was just a graphical layer on top of MS-DOS. So what changed exactly? You see, Windows 3.0 brought the modern interface. Windows 95 introduced the Start button, taskbar, and a fully integrated system that skyrocketed it into dominance. And today, Windows 11 continues that legacy with smoother design, better performance, and AI-driven features through Copilot+. The Windows architecture was built around ease of use. Drive letters like C: and D:, a hybrid kernel for balance between stability and speed, and hardware requirements that ensure security through TPM and secure boot. So what actually makes Windows the king of the desktop world? Here's the surprising part. It's not just popularity. Windows works with almost everything. Around 75% of all desktops worldwide run Windows, which means software companies build their apps primarily for it, especially games. Add DirectX support, endless hardware options from budget to high-end, and deep roots in business environments thanks to tools like Word, Excel, and Outlook. And you start to see why Windows dominates. But if Windows is so powerful, what holds it back? Well, its biggest strength being everywhere is also its biggest weakness. With such a massive user base, hackers see Windows as the biggest target. That means more malware, more viruses, and more vulnerabilities. On top of that, Windows can get unstable if too many background processes pile up, or if incompatible software slips in. And yes, older PCs definitely feel the constant telemetry, updates, and services using up your system resources. So if Windows is the everyday workhorse, what about the OS built for people who want everything to just feel perfect? Meet macOS, the designer's choice. Apple didn't just build an operating system, they rebuilt their entire foundation. After the original macOS hit technical limits, Apple launched macOS X in 2001, powered by a rock-solid Unix core borrowed from NextStep. Suddenly, memory management improved, multitasking became reliable, and Apple's famous intuitive design stayed intact. Over the years, the name changed from Mac OS X to OS X, and finally to macOS. But the strong foundation behind it stayed the real secret to its power. Now here's something interesting. macOS treats everything as part of one elegant hierarchy starting from a single root directory. No C: or D: drives just a clean, organized Unix-style structure that makes the system both flexible and stable. And what happens when you pair this architecture with Apple's own hardware? You get Macs powered by Apple Silicon, those M-series chips known for incredible speed and battery life. This tight hardware-software integration is what gives macOS its signature smoothness. But that brings up the next big question. If macOS feels this refined, what exactly are its greatest strengths and what trade-offs come with that perfection? Its Unix foundation gives macOS strong permissions, fewer malware threats, and reliability that creative pros swear by. And the real magic happens when you pair it with the Apple ecosystem, your iPhone, iPad, and Mac syncing in a way that feels almost invisible. A message typed on your phone can appear on your Mac. A photo taken on your iPhone shows up instantly in your laptop's editing software. That seamless flow is something Windows simply can't replicate. But here's something even more exclusive. If you want to build apps for iPhones or Macs, you must use Xcode, which only runs on macOS. No Mac, no app development. That alone makes it non-negotiable for developers targeting Apple platforms. Still, there's another question. If macOS is so powerful, why doesn't everyone use it? Because the price tag isn't gentle. Apple hardware costs significantly more than a Windows equivalent, and repairs? Also premium. The software library is smaller too, and customization is limited, especially when compared to Linux. For some users, that lack of flexibility is a deal breaker. Which brings us to Linux, the operating system that broke all the rules. So how did a hobby project created by a student in 1991 become the backbone of the internet? You see, Linus Torvalds released the Linux kernel as free, open-source software, and the world ran with it. Early versions were tiny, just a few thousand lines of code, but the potential was massive. By 1996, Linux supported multiple processors, and today, the kernel has grown to over 27 million lines, powering everything from Android phones to supercomputers. But here's the most fascinating part. Linux isn't just one OS. It's hundreds. Ubuntu for beginners, Debian for stability, Fedora for cutting-edge features, each built on the same kernel but customized for different needs. And here's the part that surprises most people. Linux doesn't cost a single dollar. But that's not even its biggest advantage. The real magic lies in one question. What happens when you give users full control over their operating system? You get freedom. Absolute freedom. Because Linux is open source, anyone can read the code, tweak it, rebuild it, and even contribute to its improvement. Want a different desktop look? Switch to GNOME, KDE, or XFCE. Want to change how the kernel behaves? You can. Linux lets you fine-tune almost everything, making it the most customizable OS on the planet. But Linux isn't just flexible, it's also incredibly secure. And what makes it so secure? Because its permission system is tight, updates come quickly from a global developer community, and malware rarely targets it. Add to that its lightweight nature, which lets it run smoothly on even decade-old hardware. And suddenly, Linux becomes the hero for servers, embedded devices, scientific computing, and even smartphones. Yes, Android is powered by the Linux kernel. But if Linux is this powerful, why isn't everyone using it? Well, it's the learning curve. Many distros depend heavily on the command line, which can intimidate anyone used to clicking icons. Some commercial apps still don't have Linux versions, and while compatibility has improved, it's not flawless. Hardware drivers can also lag for brand new components. For beginners, these hurdles can feel overwhelming. So with each OS offering something different, how do you decide which one truly fits you? Think of it this way. Windows is the go-to choice for gamers, office users, and anyone who wants maximum software compatibility without breaking the bank. macOS, on the other hand, is the sweet spot for creatives, professionals developing for Apple's ecosystem, and users who value seamless integration across their devices. Meanwhile, Linux stands out for developers, system administrators, cybersecurity experts, and organizations that need deep customization and zero licensing costs. So now that you know what each operating system truly excels at, which one fits your world best? Let us know in the comments. And if you're enjoying videos like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more.